Ooh, look at that. You can kind of notice something interesting here going on with some parallax. As you put your finger closer to the lens, it can't obviously put it into focus, but you're noticing some aberration there going on. You can see that my finger kind of has some shadowing. Continuing on this motif here and showing you how I would consume this product on my daily driver here. Uh, iOS 15. It's pretty awesome. iOS 14 had a couple of shortcomings, but I think iOS 15 really brings those to home. Literally, in other words, when you swipe down, you actually have a full section of the Apple Home right in your control center. You can notice here that right next to the brightness on the screen, there's this thing called focus. With iOS 15, they do change a little bit of the camera. You can see here that they've got photographic styles, so you can go in and it'll show you different features, different styles that you'll use kind of as hotkeys for different looks that you like. I don't really care. I just want to use standard with a little bit of warmth and a little bit of tone. So it'll incorporate that in some of my shots. When you take pictures, the camera is fantastic, using some of the best technology out there in the computational photography. The interface is very much the same. Down below, you've got all your different settings, but you have a couple of different new features like the cinematic video, where it uses shallow depth of field to make cinematographic shots. So this is kind of what replaced that portrait mode. You can see they're utilizing the really, really blurry background as if I had like a 50 millimeter or a 35 millimeter lens on an SLR camera, just like this. This camera has a shallow depth of field because it's a prime 35 millimeter. I'm gonna take some video with it. As you guys can see, it looks like the front-facing camera is significantly stabilized than from the iPhone 12. I always hated taking shots with, I shook it there on purpose so you guys could see. But for the most part, it does have some software in there that stabilizes that front-facing camera, and I think it's a pretty decent work. Continuing to show you my screen here, you've got on just regular video, you can switch from HD to 4K. On HD, you've got 30 frames a second, 60 frames a second, and then on 4K, you've got 30, 60, 24, which is kind of cool if you want to go cinematic. Obviously on the slow-mo, this is where it's going to be doing the 120, but it only has the ability to do 1080p. I really think that's impressive. On this front-facing camera, you've got 4K 60, and I think it looks good. I didn't notice a significant crop in. Usually that's what I notice with 4K. It seems like it's the exact same dimension. Let's flip it over to the other side here. On video, you have a lot more choices here. You've got 4K 60. Showing you here a few more of the different choices here. This is 1080p at 60. You've got 1080p 30. 4K 60, 24, 30. We just changed to the ultra wide, and that doesn't seem like as ultra wide as the Pro Max, at least the 12 Pro Max. It seems like it's like a 18 to 20 millimeter. It seems like also that the ultra wide does have some stabilization. That was my biggest issue with the 12 Pro Max, is the stabilization on the ultra wide was garbage enough that I couldn't handhold it. It is showing, you can see here on the corner that is shaking a lot. I don't like that. Taking some video here on the regular video. This is the 1080p 60, but it seems like it's stabilizing really, really well. When we go to the ultra wide though, there isn't as much stabilization. You can see how shaky it is right here on the edge. That's a little unfortunate. I wish it was better. Cinematic mode is still on the front-facing camera, which is really nice. Again, it's going to be getting that blur you can already see on my screen. It's putting this in focus, my finger. Ooh, look at that. You can kind of notice something interesting here going on with some parallax. As you put your finger closer to the lens, it can't obviously put it into focus, but you're noticing some aberration there going on. You can see that my finger kind of has some shadowing, and I'm thinking that that's because it's using both the cameras to try to get that shallow depth of field, and they're both slightly off of each other and so it's causing that shadowy effect. Once we get it into the angle that it can focus on, oh, it's still kind of doing the shadow. That's interesting on the cinematic mode. I wonder if that still reflects on the video. Yeah, look at my knuckle. You can see that it's got, some shadowing going on. Even though it is in focus, it's got like some haloing effect. Yeah, you can definitely see that in the footage. Look at that. That is not good. I'm sorry that you guys saw my gross hairy knuckles and my moles on my fingers, my freckles on my fingers, but that is something to note here. There are a couple of flaws here within the camera itself. That still reflects on the video. Yeah, look at my knuckle. You can see that it's got, some shadowing going on. Even though it is in focus, it's got like some haloing effect.